Rhonda Draculas here, and today I'm gonna bring you not one, but two viewer request designs. I do read my emails, and I have my first request was from a lady, and her request was for an earth-toned marble. She says, I see all kind of videos where they're doing Carrara marbles with grays. She wants to see an earth tone. So she's even told me that she would like me to use, and I quote, a white background with a little metallic sparkle. I can do that. Colors she would like me to use, Rustoleum, dark taupe, and sand. I can use other colors, but those are the two main colors that she would like me to use. And also she wants the marble to be very soft. She doesn't want a lot of veins in it, so she wants it to be a very, very soft marble. So then we're gonna come in, and I had a request for a natural stone with a vein. She also tells me she wants white background. Her home is very rustic with exposed wood and old tin. She also wants earth tones, dark taupe, sand, leather brown, chestnut, dark walnut, and warm caramel. She wants a few fracture lines like a stone would be, and she wants it to be very soft. Now the vein, she says, she wants it to be very soft, almost like a slab. So I have my instructions and I have my work cut out for me. So let's get started. I've taken my board, I've primed it, and then I came back over the top with Dixie Belle paint. I love Dixie Belle. It is a chalk tack paint, love it. And this color is Burlap. So I put 2 coats of the Burlap down, sanded lightly in between, and we're ready to go. So we'll start off with white base tint, tinted with the Alumilite white opaque dye. I absolutely love this stuff, guys. This is a game changer. It stays ultra white, beautiful, little tiny bit, goes a long way. So, and then we're gonna add a little bit of diamond dust because in my email she said she wanted just a little bit of metallic sparkle. So, a little bit of that. All right, so what we're gonna do first is I'm gonna basically add some color to my board before we get started. I'm just gonna lightly fog. I don't want it to be anything huge where you're really gonna see anything, because remember, we are using an opaque base tint, but just in case we have a little bit of edges peek through, I do wanna have a little bit of that white color on there. So I'm just gonna come in, hit my edges a little bit, not a lot. And then we'll just kind of get some color over the top. I'm gonna kind of put this down in a pattern. I wanna leave some voids. I'm gonna leave a little bit in there because we may use that later. I wanted to leave a little bit of voids. I'm gonna go ahead and spread this out, but not completely cover the board. I'm actually gonna heat this up just a little bit. It's a little bit cool in my studio, so I wanna heat this up so it's just a little easier to spread. I am gonna go ahead and address my edges a little bit. This will just kind of help that epoxy to flow over it evenly. I won't get areas where it doesn't really wanna flow. Epoxy likes to flow where there's already epoxy. All right, so I've left a few little voids here. Now I'm gonna come in with clear epoxy, and I've added diamond dust in here, and I've added it pretty thick. So what's gonna happen is when I put this epoxy in my open voided areas, it's gonna kind of stick there. But then as I move it over the top of the epoxy that's already white, it's gonna mute it down just a little bit. So here we go. Kind of go in my areas that are void. All right, then I'm gonna come and put it on the rest of the area. All right, so now I'm gonna take the voided areas, rub that in first. Now I'm gonna take it and meld the rest. I'm just barely going over those areas that were voided. I don't want that sparkle to stick out like a sore thumb. I want it to be almost like a translucent area. Get my edges. All right. Ooh, I really like that. That would be a cool finish just right there. That would be a really neat, soft finish right here. I'll heat that up a little bit. Okay, very pretty. All right, so now I want to add a little more, I guess, background noise, I guess you could call it. This is a white and pearl mica powder. Mixed them together and mixed it with 91% alcohol. So I'm not going to add a lot. In fact, I want to make my drips, my spray pattern to be not a mist, but not big hard drops. So just kind of, and all this is going to do is bring in a little bit of color in the background. Not a lot, just a little bit. I'm going to let that kind of move and play a little bit, and we'll come back and we'll start chopping in some color. Okay, so let's add some color. Start off with some sand. Woo. And we're just going to be very light at first. We're going to just kind of set the tone of this piece. Remember, in our email, she wanted a very, very, very soft marble. So, a couple of ways you can do this. We can use our brush and kind of chop the color in. We'll do that first. I'm going to prime it. I want to make sure I come into the board with epoxy already on it. All right, I'm going to spray a little bit. Get it on my brush. Very gently, very lightly. I'm going to start bringing in some color. Now, I'm taking in account that I want to kind of work around some of these areas where I have the clear and the diamond dust, because I really like that. I really like those voids. Gives it almost an onyx transparent look. Now, that's one way that you can add your color. The other way, which is I really like this way, is to use your hand, a little bit on your fingers, and then you can just kind of move it where you want it. I really do like that. We're gonna let it start to kind of meld, soften, and then I'm gonna come back with a heat gun and we're gonna move it around. Okay, got my heat gun. Now we're gonna soften that pattern. When working with marble or trying to create a marble effect, I really like to use the tilting, but don't tilt if your sample board, if you know that the finish that you're going to create is on a piece that you can't tilt, because you won't be able to recreate that exact look. So I am going to tilt just a little bit. When you tilt a board, you really soften any pattern that you have. You'll soften out the lines. You'll cause it to be a little more opaque. Also, you'll get that effect when you use your heat gun. All right, so I've really softened that area. Now I'm going to bring in some other colors. She had mentioned that she likes the dark taupe, so I'm going to bring in a little bit of dark taupe. I'm not cleaning my brush. My brush still has some of the sand on there. I'm actually even gonna spray it into the area that I had used earlier for my piece. So, and then we're gonna just start chopping. Again, I'm just kind of mindful of where I want my pattern to be. And you can definitely see the areas of the clear diamond dust. Really love the dimension that's given it. Here we go again. Now, when you're using your heat gun and you're marbleizing your finish, you want to be very mindful not to get your epoxy too hot. If you get it too hot, you kind of lose control of being able to get your design how you want it to be. So once I start feeling it getting really hot or really super fluid and super thin, I back off, let it cool down, and start back up. So here we go. When I'm using my heat gun, I almost use it like a paintbrush. I let that gun move my paint, my color, I should say, where I want it to go. If I have voids, I may want to push that color over into that void. If I want to bring my color back together, I'll come grab some of the white and I'll push it back in to my color. Okay, so I'm noticing my epoxy's pretty warm. And the reason I can tell is I'm starting to kind of lose control with my gun and I'm getting it too fluid. So I'm going to let it cool off for just a couple of seconds, maybe a minute, and I'll come back. But I'm really liking how this is coming together. I really like how I can still see my diamond dust where I came in with it clear. It almost has a transparent look. So I'm really liking this. All right. I like this a lot. Okay, I guess, guys, this is about what she's wanting. She definitely wanted a white background. She definitely wanted me to bring in the sand and the taupe. I'm feeling a little void right here. I think I'm gonna add just a hair bit more color right here. So this time, I'm gonna kind of change it up a little bit. I'm gonna come in with a khaki. The khaki and the sand are very, very, very much the same color, just a tiny bit of difference. So it's a little darker, so I'm gonna be a little more conservative with how much I put on the board. Maybe just a little bit there. I really like this corner here. Maybe right there. Yeah, so this is giving me just enough of a contrast with my sand. I really like that. Okay. Well, guys, I think I'm gonna call it quits. I really like the way this turned out. It's very soft. I still have some white areas, which is what she wanted. I have a very, very soft pattern. So I hope you like this, and I can't wait to take it to the next level.